Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking into something really fundamental, sleep.
Yes, absolutely essential.
We've got a couple of great resources here. An episode of Lifeline's Sleep Disorders, When to Get Help by Dr. Surta Ram-Vishnoi, and also his article, Understanding and Addressing Sleep Disorders.
Both from the Your Health Deserves a Lifeline series. Very helpful pieces.
Exactly. So our goal today is pretty clear. We want to sort of pull out the key information on when you should maybe think about getting professional help for sleep problem.
And understand the potential impact, too.
Yeah.
Right? Based on what Dr. Vishnoi presents.
Right. Because, we all have bad nights sometimes. But the question is, when does that occasional thing become, something more serious? Let's get into it.
That really is the core question, isn't it? And these materials, they really stress we're talking about more than just feeling a bit groggy.
Mm-hmm.
The sources define sleep disorders as conditions that affect the quality, the timing, or just how long you sleep. Basically, anything that consistently messes with your natural sleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Dr. Vishnoi gives us a good list of the usual suspects.
Yeah.
We've got insomnia, the real difficulty falling asleep or maybe staying asleep. Frustrating stuff.
Definitely.
Then sleep apnea, which is quite different, where breathing actually stops and starts repeatedly during the night.
Which can be pretty serious, as the sources point out.
Yeah. And restless leg syndrome, RLS. That uncontrollable urge to move your legs keeps you awake.
Very disruptive. Then you have narcolepsy, the excessive daytime sleepiness, sometimes even sudden sleep attacks.
Right, falling asleep suddenly.
Yeah.
And circadian rhythm disorders, that's when your internal body clock is just off.
Exactly, out of sync with the actual day and night. And lastly, parasomnias. Those are the kind of unusual behaviors during sleepwalking night terrors.
It's quite a spectrum, isn't it? So many ways sleep can go off the rails.
It really is. And what strikes me is how both the Lifelines episode and the article really hammer home the vital role sleep plays. It's not just about feeling rested, although that's part of it. Good sleep is crucial for, physical restoration, cognitive function, like thinking clearly, concentrating, and even our emotional balance.
Right.
The article specifically links poor sleep to a higher risk of major chronic conditions, things like heart disease, diabetes, depression. So this isn't trivial. It has real long-term health implications.
Okay, so we've established what these disorders generally are and why good sleep is just, non-negotiable for health. But let's get to the main point for you, the listener. How do you know when your sleep trouble crosses that line? When should you actually seek help?
Yes, differentiating between a few bad nights and a persistent problem.
Exactly. We all have off nights.
Right. And the Lifelines episode is particularly good at outlining these red flags. One big one is chronic fatigue.
Meaning
You feel constantly worn out, drained, even if you think you slept for, say, 7 or 8 hours. It suggests your sleep isn't restorative. It's not doing its job.
Okay, that makes sense. Non-restorative sleep. What else?
Well, the more obvious struggle. Persistently finding it hard to actually fall asleep when you go to bed. Or waking up a lot during the night and then just lying there, unable to get back to sleep.
Yeah, staring at the clock. Classic insomnia signs.
Precisely.
But the sources also mention other things, maybe less obvious, like snoring.
Yes, loud snoring is a big one, especially if someone notices you have pauses in your breathing or you gasp or choke in your sleep. That's a major indicator for sleep apnea.
And the Lifelines episode really flags the seriousness of that, linking untreated sleep apnea to higher risks of heart attack and stroke. That's significant.
Definitely something not to ignore. Another key sign is daytime sleepiness.
Just feeling drowsy.
Excessively drowsy. Maybe even nodding off unintentionally during the day, like during meetings, or much more dangerously, while driving. That could point to narcolepsy or just underline really poor sleep quality overall.
Okay. And what about restless legs?
That uncomfortable, sometimes creepy crawly sensation in the legs with that strong urge to move them, that's RLS. If it happens mainly at night and disrupts your sleep, that's another reason to seek advice.
Right.
And finally, those parasomnias we mentioned, frequent disturbing nightmares, or maybe sleepwalking. If those are happening, it's worth talking to a doctor.
It's really clear how these sleep issues aren't just nighttime problems. They spill right over into the day, don't they?
Absolutely. The sources talk about interference with work performance.
Yeah.
Strained relationships, difficulty just managing daily tasks.
And things like poor concentration, being more irritable, mood swings, it all kind of tracks back to not getting that fundamental rest.
It really does. And a key point both sources make is about persistence and impact. The Lifelines episode suggests, if these issues last more than a few weeks and they're clearly messing with how you function during the day,
And it's time.
then it's probably time to consult a healthcare professional. It's about spotting that pattern, not just isolated incidents.
Okay, so let's say you, the listener, recognize some of this. You decide, okay, I need to talk to someone. What happens next?
What's the diagnostic process like based on the Lifelines episode?
Well, the first step is usually a detailed chat with your doctor. They'll take what's called a sleep history
Asking about.
your sleep patterns, your bedtime routines, the specific symptoms you're having. They actually suggest keeping a sleep diary for a week or two beforehand can be really useful.
Ah, right. So you have some concrete data to share.
Exactly. It gives the doctor a clearer picture. After that initial talk, depending on what they suspect, they might suggest further tests. One major one is polysomnography.
That sounds technical. The sleep study.
That's the one. It's typically an overnight study, often in a sleep lab, where they monitor various things while you sleep. Brain waves, heart rate, breathing, muscle activity, oxygen levels.
And that's especially for.
The episode mentions it's particularly useful if they suspect sleep apnea to really see those breathing events.
Got it. Are there other tests? Yes. For sleep apnea, sometimes a home sleep test is an option. You use a simpler portable monitoring device at home.
Okay, that sounds maybe a bit more convenient for some people.
It can be. Then there's actigraphy. This is more like wearing a sophisticated watch.
Like a fitness tracker?
Sort of, yeah. It tracks your movement patterns over several days or weeks to get a sense of your sleep-wake cycles. This can be really helpful for diagnosing circadian rhythm disorders, where the timing of sleep is the main issue.
So different tools for different suspected problems. It's tailored.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all. They use the tests needed to understand your specific situation.
Okay, makes sense. So once there's a diagnosis, what about treatment? The sources seem to cover a range of approaches.
They do. And they emphasize, quite rightly, that the treatment really depends on the specific disorder diagnosed.
Right.
For insomnia, for instance, a very common first step is something called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI. It's a type of therapy, basically. It helps you identify and change the thoughts and behaviors that are actually getting in the way of your sleep. It targets the root causes.
Okay, addressing the habits and thought patterns, that sounds promising. What about medications? The sources mentioned those too.
Yes, medications can play a role. Things like prescription sleep aids, maybe anti-anxiety meds, if anxiety is a factor, or specific drugs for RLS or narcolepsy.
But presumably used carefully.
Absolutely. The sources are clear.
Hmm.
These are prescribed by a doctor, usually as part of a broader plan, and need careful management. They aren't typically the first or only solution, especially for chronic insomnia.
And for sleep apnea, you mentioned that breathing issue. What's the common treatment there?
The most common is CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure. It involves wearing a mask over your nose or mouth while you sleep,
Right.
and a machine gently blows air into your airway to keep it open, preventing those pauses in breathing.
Okay. And beyond the therapies and devices, what about just lifestyle? Those seem important too.
Hugely important. Things like having a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time, even on weekends.
That's always the hard one.
It is. But it helps regulate your body clock. Also, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, limiting caffeine and alcohol, especially later in the day. Cutting down screen time before bed.
The blue light issue.
Exactly. And ensuring your bedroom is, optimized for sleep, dark, quiet, cool. These basics can make a real difference.
It seems like fundamental sleep hygiene.
It is. And for RLS specifically, sometimes physical therapy or certain medications can help manage the leg discomfort. Plus, a crucial point the article makes is managing underlying conditions.
Like stress, anxiety.
Yes. Those often fuel sleep problems, so addressing them directly is key. Often, the best approach involves combining several of these strategies. It's quite holistic.
This has been incredibly informative. I think the main takeaway really is that persistent sleep problems aren't just something to endure. Help is available.
Definitely. Don't just try to power through it if it's ongoing and affecting your life.
And these sources really lay out when to seek that help and what to expect.
Precisely. And they constantly circle back to how deeply sleep quality is tied to overall health, physical and mental. The article mentions immune function, cognitive sharpness, It all connects back to sleep.
It does. That quote from Dr. Vishnoi really sums it up nicely, doesn't it? Sleep is the foundation of health.
Understanding sleep disorders is key to restoring restful nights and vibrant days. It's a great encapsulation.
It really is a powerful reminder to, well, value our sleep and take action if something feels consistently wrong. Because, like the series title says, your health does deserve that lifeline every night.
Well said. Prioritizing sleep is prioritizing health.
Thanks for digging into this with us today.